I just knew something was going to happen. And sure enough, that night she got killed. She got shot in the back of the head. A lot of death around me. By the time I was 15, I lost 15 friends.
Let's talk about your childhood a little bit. Tell me about how you came up.
I was raised in the projects. My grandmother raised me. She took me out of my mom and dad's home when I was about 4. There was a lot of fighting. They just couldn't get along, so she took us. It was myself, my brother, and my sister. One day, she just came and got us, and we lived with her ever since.
Wow.
Life was really, really good with my grandmother. Our lawns were manicured. Everybody had rose bushes. I remember everybody being different races and everybody was family. Everybody got along. I distinctively remember the sun shining different there. Like it felt like a fantasy land. Like I had the best childhood ever. So I remember life being perfect, blissful until I was about 13.
Okay.
Then everything changed. I went from one generation of fantasy land to middle of a war zone. And I say war zone because this was early 90s.
Okay.
Gangs were at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
In our projects, we lived in like a 2-mile radius and there was 8 gangs.
So there was eight gangs.
Gangs. And they were all at war with each other. And we were a part of these gangs. I seen a lot of things that no child should see. A lot of death around me. By the time I was 15, I lost 15 friends.
You lost 15 friends to gang violence by the time you were 15?
15 friends.
Did it seem normal?
It seemed completely normal. A lot of them were girls. These are my friends, my sisters that I grew up with, that I played Barbies with my whole life.
How did they die?
Gang violence.
Okay.
Shot, bullets, yeah. There was, I remember one time, one of my friends was going out with these guys and I felt in my soul that something was bad was gonna happen. Didn't wanna go, I just knew something was gonna happen. And sure enough, that night she got killed. She got shot in the back of the head.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was so much death around me. I couldn't show emotion. I couldn't react like a normal person. What does a normal person do when, you know, they're 15 and all of their childhood friends are dying? So I learned to process death different from normal people. I got pregnant at 17. I was a single mother. It didn't work out with the father. I saved enough money to move out on my own. Although I wasn't actively gang banging, I was still gang mentality. I thought I could take care of my daughter. Now I'm out of the projects. But having an extra mouth to feed, and when you have a mentality of gang, you don't think like a normal person would when it comes to providing for your child. I got arrested for robbing and burglary, like, God, I would say like 6 times. You know, LA is overcrowding, so you would go in and come right back out. The last time I got arrested, the judge looked at me and said, I'm gonna give you 3 years. Not half time, not 3 years state prison. She looked at me and told me I was gonna be a statistic. I was never, ever gonna be nothing. I was gonna be a horrible mother. I was gonna be known as a gang member all my life. I don't know if that in itself, telling me I was gonna be a statistic, changed me, but something clicked. Right then and there, something clicked. And I remember what my grandmother told me when I was 6 years old. She told me that I was powerful. Norma Jean told me my mentality would be the difference between a love story and a nightmare. And I had power already in me that I didn't know it. I was not supposed to be a follower. I was supposed to be a leader. I don't know why that clicked at that time. But I think that I needed to hear that at that time. I had already lost over 20 friends. And none of that shook me. None of that made me want to change.
What would you say some of the biggest lessons have been?
Finding my worth.
Finding your worth.
Yeah. I realized that girls from the hood are the most ignored, yet emulated, secretly admired, women on the planet. We need to find our power in that. My power is the thing that keeps me from listening to that voice that was not mine. It's the voice of your circumstances. It's the voice of, defeat. You start to believe this voice that's not real. And when you really understand your power, you understand that that voice is not yours. Your voice is one of love. Your voice is one of encouragement. Your voice is one of confidence. Your voice would never tell you anything bad.
How do you build confidence?
Sharing whatever I go through and I learn from, that's how I built my confidence. And when I was 13, all my friends wanted to be pretty and I wanted to be the confident one. I really didn't understand it, but I knew that if I was confident, I could get what I want. I could do what I want. I could go anywhere I want. I believed in myself. If I was confident, I could just be whatever I wanted.
Did Norma Jean instill that in you?
Norma Jean showed me and told me that it was already in me. She told me these things when I was 6 years old, that I had power in me, that I had leadership in me, that I had confidence in me. That was in my blood. It wasn't something that I had to search for. It was in me. All I needed to do was find it, pull it out. My brand, my lifestyle girl gang, Madam Norma Jean, I took a lot of the concepts of gangbanging and turned them around. I literally changed what I represented and what I was willing to live and die for. Now it was nothing negative. It was all positive. It was a sisterhood. It was my culture. It's for women who really don't understand their power. That's my purpose, to help you pull it out. I am every girl who ever felt like they weren't good enough or they were ignored. I am you, and I'm powerful. I know that the power is in you because it's in me. Paying it forward. That's what Madam Norma Jean represents. And I was able to take that from a negative past and bring it to a positive future. And that is what my grandmother gave me. And that's why I created Madam Norma Jean Gang.
Love it.
Thank you.
These women's stories are so impactful. Arras Sisters creates opportunities for women.